Hey guys, I'm Rogan and this is my rant. We believe in the diversity of thought here on this channel. I'm throwing it back to one of my classic videos, what the modern video game industry rant 3 or whatever. I'm not going to call it that. I'm just going to tell you, I'm probably going to title this video like the problems with the modern video game industry or whatever. So I've been seeing a trend, right? And then like the video if you like this type of more lighthearted content. So getting to it, I've been seeing a trend that they're calling this like the uneventful or the nothing or like the non-interesting generation, because we have the PS5 and we have the Series X and we're waiting on the Switch 2 and stuff like that. But a lot of these game publishers, these developers, they're laying off a ton of people in the industry. And that's not good. It's not good for people losing their livelihoods. I feel bad for that. Like that's very important. But the thing is, what's happening is that I think gamers are finally starting to smarten up in voting with their wallets. Now, a great game, in my opinion, is being to have a really good single player and then a multiplayer that's almost as good as the single player, or maybe a little bit better than the single player, whatever you want to do. But these live service games, there's already things like Fortnite and Overwatch and these other games that have their foothold, the big players in the industry. And Helldivers 2 did a really good job. Double A developer, or I don't, maybe they would have been indie. They would have been indie, I think. But so a lot of these models for these games, like these massive budgets, they're just not, some of them are just not breaking through. They're not getting the sales numbers that these top level execs want. And guess what happens when that happens? Oh, they got to double down on expensive DLC. They got to double down on the battle pass. They got to double down on microtransactions. They got to double down on in-game purchases to jump a few levels ahead without actually have to grind it out and stuff like that. I know that's gotten better over the years, but I think what the industry needs is actually to take more creative chances. And what I mean by that is, like, don't always do the tried and true formula of something that has been guaranteed to work in the past, or remaking or remastering or reimagining an already existing game. There's so much of those games out there. It's crazy. Like, they're remaking Croc, like that Croc platformer game. I just saw that the other day, and it's like it doesn't even look that much better, So I think gamers are starting to wisen up, Not saying that there isn't good games on the horizon. Indiana Jones might do well, and like, who knows about the next Call of Duty, and then like the new Sonic and Shadow Generations game. There's a bunch of games coming out, right? But they're laying off these people because they're not hitting the numbers that they want. And the thing is, indie developers, they can take those creative chances and liberties. But sometimes when those new indie games get made, they're hearkening to styles of the past, like 2D side scrollers or like turn-based RPGs. And those styles aren't bad, but graphics can only get so good. The graphics that we're experiencing right now are some of they're amazing. They just look so good, but they only look so good. They put so much effort into that, but it's like, what about the gameplay? What about the content at launch, right? If the gameplay isn't great, and then both modes, the single player and the multiplayer, aren't great, then they're not going to be playing them. The replayability won't be there, and they won't be forgotten, but they won't be played years and years to come. You gotta, because it's when they lack content, or these games aren't finished, people are like, oh well, I mean, can't play it now. And then months later, then the player base online is a fraction of what it used to be, and it never recovers. Oh gee, I wonder why. So what I believe is that gameplay should have a better focus. You shouldn't neglect the single player, but the multiplayer is also very important. But don't make the multiplayer predatory. I swear, you're just trying, and it's just, something needs to be done. Like, I'm not a developer, I'm not a publisher, but some innovation needs to be in game design, like maybe meta, or like the metaverse, or something like that. But I don't really know. But like an innovation similar to the jump from the Super Nintendo to the N64 or the PS1, or something as big as the jump from, you know, basically PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3. That was a big, that's like a stark big difference. There needs to be innovation and more chances need to be taken because gamers are clamoring for something better, something new, so that is the problem right now with the modern game industry. And there hasn't been a ton of like knockout titles for the modern consoles. There's been Game Pass, and then there's been some good Sony games, but there hasn't been a ton because they used to in the past. Games used to come out, month after month after month, banger after banger after banger. Now it's kind of just like the game industry is kind of just like floating in this like not primordial ooze, but you know what I mean. Like they're floating in this it's like this limbo. They're just like well, we could just keep doing what we're doing and continue to make less and less money every year, or we could just make remasters. That's the only option. That's the only thing that works. That's if you think that's the only thing that works, like something doesn't work until you try it. So that is my rant about the modern video game industry. I hope you liked it. Smash the dislike if you didn't like it. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. And that notification bell. It might work, it might not. And I would love to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below. And yeah, have a great day. See you next time.